Hello friends, this is tutorial number 38 in these Turbo Pascal programming language tutorials. Okay, in this tutorial we will expand our application from the previous two tutorials. And okay, now we want to find the minimum number, and we have 7 numbers. Okay, and let's try with we need a couple of variables, but it will be now the name of the variables. These global variables will be n1, n2, n3, n4, n5, n6, and n7. And we will need also, like in the previous tutorial, minimum 1, minimum 2, and the minimum. They all will be an integer. Okay. And we will need a procedure. Okay, name of the procedure will be minimum number. And okay, we will have local variables A, B, and C. We will expand a local. We have one more than the previous two tutorials. Okay, they will be an integer. Semicolon, and we will define our variable returned will be also an integer. Okay, semicolon here, and now we will need begin and end of the procedure, and we will need begin and end of the application. Okay, that's good. I will type read line here. Okay, and now we need to define our procedure. Okay, we have a variable returned, and it will be equals to A. Okay, we define our return variable, but we will need a control statement. And we will write if b is less than we already define our variable returned, then if b is lesser than returned, we have a control statement. We need a begin and end, and okay, it will have a semicolon. We will not have else statement. Will simply, if b is lesser than returned, we will change the variable returned. Returned will be equals to b. It's pretty much simple. Okay, and we will need, but okay, begin and end. It is control statement. Let me move this a little. Okay, and okay, now it is better. Okay, we will need another control statement if local variable c is lesser than returned. We will simply then again we need a begin and end, and if c is lesser than returned, we will change returned will be equals to c. Okay, and that's our procedure. Okay, and now I really hope that you understand. We're starting okay, default return will be a, but in case we have a if statement, if b is lesser than returned, the return variable will change to b, and we have if not it will stay. But if c is lesser than returned, it will change. It is after, of course, after this if statement, another condition, and if c is lesser than returned, it will be changed to c, and if not, it will stay as it is. Okay. And now we need we define our procedure. We need now, but here read line needs to be with tab. And now we need to write line, and we will write enter the numbers, and the numbers will be, but enter the numbers. Okay, we can type enter 7 numbers. Okay, enter but okay, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, enter all these numbers. Okay, and now we need to read line. We will read all these numbers, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, and now we want to know which numbers we entered. Okay, let's okay, I will use right here because the numbers entered. Okay, and let's write the numbers. First we will type okay, we will need N1 is the first, and we need comma as a text, and now we need N2 and comma as a text, and we will need N3 and okay, and comma as a text, and we will need N4. Okay, and we will finish, but we use right, we didn't use right line, we will use right, and now we will use right line, but it will be all in the same line. Okay, and we will first start with comma as a text, and now we will need N5, and again we will need a comma as a text, and we will have N6, and again comma as a text, and we will need a variable N7. Okay, which should be fine. Okay, now we entered the all 7 variables, and we write them all. And now what we need to do, we will need just a second. We will need to call the procedure. Okay, as we can see, minimum number is has first 3 local variables and 4th variable, which is returned inside the procedure, and which 3 variables we will we will call the mean number. We will use mean number, and we will use first 3 variables n1, n2, n3, and the 4th variable returned will be, as a return we will use mean1. Okay, mean number from n1, n2, and n3, and the 4th variable return will be mean1. It will not. It will be with that procedure we will define minimum 1, and it will be the lesser number, the less number from these 3. Okay, and we will call again procedure minimum number. And now we want to get a minimum number from variables. Okay, we used n1, n2, n3, and we will use now n4, n5, and n6. Okay, and we will use minimum 2. Okay, let's write it, and min 2 or minimum 2 as you want. Okay. Now with this we defined variables minimum 1 and minimum 2. Okay, and we need to call again a procedure minimum number, And now it will be, okay, we used first 6, but we didn't use n7, and let's use it now. n7, and we will use these two variables, minimum 1 as the last number from these three. It will be minimum 1, and the last number from these three is a minimum 2. We will use minimum 2, and okay, the fourth variable, it will be returned 1. As a returned, we will use minimum, and we will define our minimum. Okay, and minimum. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you understand this. And now we just need right line. We will just define minimum number, the minimum number, I forgot the space, and is okay, and now we will use minimum. Okay, semicolon. Now we need to compile this. Okay, let's compile. Okay, where is the mistake? What's the problem? Okay, closing brackets, closing bracket expected. Okay, no closing bracket, we forgot a comma. Okay, it's normal this when this right we have a variable and a single text, it's normal. Okay, maybe we have some more error. Okay, we don't. And let's try to run our, but let me see if we clear our application. Okay, it's cleared. Let's try to run this application. Okay, we have to enter 7 numbers. Okay, 31, 32, 12, 15, 8, 43, 44. Okay. Okay, the numbers entered 31, 32, okay, 12, 15, 8, 43, 44, and the minimum number is 8. Okay, this works. Let me try a couple. Okay, let's clear and try again. Okay, enter the numbers. Okay, so we need the 7 numbers. 62, 21, 3, 11, 12, 54. Okay, we have a 6 and one more, 115. Okay, the numbers are entered, as you can see: 62, 21, 3, 11, 12, 54, 115, and the minimum number is 3. And this means that this procedure works like a charm. Okay. But maybe it's a little confused, but let's explain once more. Okay, we have defined procedure from the minimum of 3 numbers, and that will return us minimum the less of them. Okay, and we define here returned will defined as A, but in case if local variable b is lesser, it will change to local variable b. And another condition, okay, if local variable c is lesser than a return that we define, or where we define here is c is lesser than returned, it will change to c. Okay, and now we use that. First we find a minimum one was we have 7 global variables, and from n1, n2, and 3, the last number of these 3 was minimum 1, and from n4, n5, and x, n6, the minimum of them was minimum 2, and we left this n7, and the minimum of n7 and these new variables minimum 1 and minimum 2 gave us the minimum. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you understand it. It was not just was a little expanded from the previous two, but the procedure is the same, almost the same. Okay, and I'm really sure that you understand it very well. Okay, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You have a link in the description. And I will see you in the next tutorial.